What is up, everybody? Dave here, and in today's video I'm going to walk you guys through how I make anywhere from 15 to 20,000 in profit every single month with one virtual assistant, unlimited products to sell, while not having to rely on coupons in as little as 8 to 12 hours a week. Now, if this sounds crazy to you, you're a little skeptical, you're new to my world, you haven't really seen too many of my videos, I completely understand. I personally would be too. And my job in this video, my goal of making this is not to prove to you that this works or whatever the case may be. I'm simply just here to show you what's worked for me, what works for some of my students, in hopes that you can take some of these things that I mentioned and implement them into your Amazon business, or maybe you're starting out and you can use this method to start building your Amazon business in a way that is more sustainable, where you can pull yourself out a bit and work less hours. Okay. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a very simple invitation to potentially come work with me alongside on a one-to-one basis and see if you want my help in implementing this exact system into your Amazon business as well. And if not, completely okay, completely understand, that's fine as well. But I still want this video, this training to be there for you to at least go ahead and take some pieces out of, so you can implement it into your very own Amazon business as well. Now, before we jump into it, before we start diving in, I want to make sure that you actually don't waste your time watching this video. So who is this not for? Well, if you're looking to make completely passive income, this is not for you. That's a big buzzword, and I feel like nowadays it's slightly more under control. This was a bigger issue, obviously back in the day, everyone wanted passive income. And I think more and more people kind of realize that that's just not the case anymore. So if you're looking for completely passive income, you're in the absolute wrong spot, especially in the beginning, because yes, I work 8 to 12 hours a week now, but that's not really how it started. And you're going to quickly see the different steps you are going to need to take to start making this, build out that sustainable approach, right? Also, if you have no time to invest into this business, this is probably not going to be the best situation for you. Unfortunately, online business in general probably isn't going to be the best case. You are going to need to be dedicating some time to this business to build up the systems, to learn the business, so you're able to go ahead and actually build that cash flow, cash generating machine that I talk about so frequently, right? One thing I didn't mention here as well is you need capital, okay? You need access to capital, whether you have liquid cash, business credit, whatever the case may be, whatever you're comfortable with, you do need capital to be buying these products that we're going to be selling. So if you fit into one of those three, then this probably isn't the best approach for you. You might want to start with a different business model. Okay, but nonetheless, that's kind of like a non-negotiable right there, right? So who is this for? Well, if you are looking to start building profit, cash flow, right? You're not necessarily looking for like building a brand, or you're not necessarily looking to build like a company, you're more so looking to generate cash flow online, then this is perfect for you, right? Maybe you have bigger aspirations, you want to get into real estate, you want to invest in stocks, whatever the case may be, you want to maybe build a brand, but you need more cash flow to do so, then this is a perfect business model to start getting that going, right? Another thing, if you're looking for a sustainable approach, right? Maybe you know how to do OA or retail arbitrage, you're on Amazon, you're selling, but you're just stuck. You feel like you're walking on thin ice, like you rely on certain products and you're not fully confident in the business as a whole, and you want a sustainable approach, then this is definitely for you, because I'm going to show you ways that you can build in systems to give yourself that consistency, that sustainability, so where you can consistently take home profit and it's not on crazy peaks. It's not like you only rely on Q4 to make all of your money. Okay. If you like systems, you want to build a real business, then this is also going to be for you. We're going to be diving very deep into that, how to build the proper systems to get you that sustainable business. And obviously, you have some free time, even if you're working full time and you have some time at the end of the day to dedicate to this, then this is definitely going to be beneficial for you. Something that I think you're going to take away from this and at least give you that option to investing your time into building this business. Because in the beginning, you are going to need some time. I know it looks very fancy in the beginning. I said I work 8 to 12 hours a week. But again, that's just simply not what it was in the beginning. But once you're able to implement this system, then you're looking at, those types of hours to kind of maintain the whole operation and oversee the whole thing. Okay, so a little bit about myself, how I got into Amazon, all that kind of stuff. So I started selling on Amazon right around 2020, early 2022. But prior to that, I was always reselling. I started reselling in 2020 on eBay. So I was buying shoes, selling them on eBay, making good money here and there, $3,000 this month, $6,000 that month. But I had crazy swings. Like some months were fantastic, made a bunch of money. In other months, I was barely taking home $500. So it was just very unsustainable. Clearly, it wasn't something I could fully live off of. I still needed a job at the time to pay for bills because that just wasn't going to cut it for me, right? I wanted to build a business that I had full control over. So I was introduced into Amazon off of some random thread on Twitter one day in 22 about retail arbitrage. I didn't even know that you could resell products on Amazon at the time. I thought you had to do the whole private label thing, like build your own brand, that kind of stuff. And I just wasn't aware of the whole other end of the business that you could get into. So me being me, I was already reselling. As soon as I came across, I was like, well, this seems like something that I could definitely do. I'm already kind of doing it. This is just at a different scale. And I saw the scaling, ability on it. Now, doing all my research online, trying to find videos, getting into it was great because it introduced me to it. But even when I was selling on Amazon early on, I was more so focused on that unsustainable approach, the type of stuff that you typically might see online, like going store to store, scanning things, right? Obviously, we don't really have full control over that because we're always limited on what our stores have for us. Same thing with relying on crazy coupon cycles or loops or cash back or discounted gift cards, right? Those are all things that we use in the business today, but they are not the sole thing that we rely on. That is not the only thing that drives profits, okay, and then builds that sustainability. So I was selling on Amazon. I scaled my Amazon business to $130,000 within, I believe it was like my 9th month selling. I was already there, and it was simple. It was the systems that I built in. And honestly, they were systems that I wasn't necessarily trying to build, but they kind of just naturally, progressively got there. And then look back 9 months later, and I'm like, wait a second, I just have so many items I sold through. This wasn't the goal, this wasn't the plan, but it's just what ended up happening. And I'm like, well, wait a second, there's a system we can build here to really replicate this process at a much quicker pace, so you can bring people from this one spot of relying on coupons and relying on only this one aspect of making money on Amazon and turn it into an aspect that you have full control over, and you can do it in a much quicker time. So I built that sustainable model, that sustainable approach kind of just naturally. It just happened. And I'm like, don't hear many people talk about this. That's kind of what my whole YouTube has really been dedicated towards. So that is my approach nowadays. I have the systems in place. My VA is properly vetted, properly trained to be feeding me products. I've sold through so many different ASINs over the last nearly 3 years that I just always have endless products to buy. So my job in the business right now is to allocate my capital to the highest margin products, the products that are getting the shrinking offer counts, that are going back up in price, or products that are just always consistently stable because they're niches that you've never heard of, brands that I've never heard of, websites that I can buy unlimited quantities of. I don't sell in niches that have issues with IP. I'm not selling supplements or beauty products. And that's just a natural progression that I made. And I'm so glad I came across. And again, that is really what my whole YouTube is really about. So that is my journey on Amazon. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's jump more into the actual sustainability approach and why this is, ideally what we need to do to build that model. So the first thing is learn. Okay, this is something that a lot of you might not want to see, and hopefully I've vetted you out prior, in that one stage of this isn't for you. You need to learn the business. This is just something that you cannot avoid. There's nothing that can be taught to you about learning the business other than you going, looking through products, looking through websites, and seeing what brands can sell on Amazon, right? Obviously, there are systems and there is strategies to implement to make that process way faster for you, so you're not just endlessly scrolling through a bunch of garbage, right? There's obviously things that we can implement, but you still need to do those things to learn the market. So that is step one, learn the market. I know the market so well that whenever I'm sourcing, I literally look down a list of products, and they're just brands that I've seen that I know I can't sell. There's products I see that I've seen multiple times that I know I can't get profitably only at this part of the day, or at this part of the month, right? Or this week of the year. So those are just things that you have to pick up and do, and that's just a repetition thing, doing it the correct way. The next thing is multiplying, which this was something huge that I was introduced to pretty early on that really multiplied my catalog so fast. And it's essentially, we are sourcing, and I'm going to show you the different methods we do here in a second, but we do a sourcing method, and from that sourcing method we find one brand from this website, and then we take that exact brand, we throw it into Keepa's product finder, we search that brand, and then we just turn that one brand into a ton of different ASINs, because a lot of times that brand you can get from this website, whatever it is that you find, you can typically get more of that same brand from that same website at a profitable price. You just need to throw that filter, that brand into Keepa and see the listings that you can potentially capitalize on, right? That is something that I know a lot of people don't do is turn their one ASIN they found profitably into multiple ASINs just with a very simple Keepa product finder search. So that is how we build that really big catalog off of products that we are already selling, right? We make one product work way more than just that one. The next phase is really outsourcing your work, is getting some more help, right? We want to free up our time. And in my opinion, yes, you can have a big catalog of products that are selling, but you always want to be getting influx of products. You always need new products coming in because the market's changed so fast. And there's always new products to be selling and new brands coming up that you need someone to be tracking those down. Now, obviously, you don't want to be doing that forever. So maybe in the beginning you do and you build it out, but then you want to bring someone on, a well-trained, properly vetted virtual assistant from the Philippines that you can pay anywhere from $2 to $4 an hour to go and do that work for you. So we're going to go over a little bit of VA vetting in here as well on how I'm doing that. But you need to be outsourcing that work so you can be focusing on doing other things you want to do, potentially maybe build another business, or really spend that time to maximize your margin, make sure the business is running nice and smooth. Always have an increase in influx of products coming in. Even if you're not buying all of them, you just build out that big base of products that you can one day potentially put money into. And if you want to outsource that task as well of ordering products and deciding what to invest money into, that's obviously very easily outsourced as well through a virtual assistant. That's again stepping out of the business even more and really allowing yourself to flourish and just print absolute tons of cash from this business once you're able to implement these systems. So the last one is scale, and that's essentially doing the exact same thing you're already doing. So you already have a VA, you already know how to source, you know how to multiply those ASINs into more ASINs, you have a big catalog, and it's literally just an influx of capital. So for my situation, I was able to scale to 30K about like my third or fourth month. I was stuck at 40K for a while, took that money I made, reinvested it, got to about 60K, and now I'm sitting at 60K revenue for 3 months straight. All I did was take an Amazon loan for $40,000 back when they still gave it, put that money into the same exact products that I already had access to in my base, and I doubled my sales to 130K that following month. Literally that one single aspect of just more capital doing the exact same things with that original system that I built allowed me to multiply my income just like that. And that is the last stage. It's nothing anything unique or crazy. It's just throwing more money into the stuff that's already working once you already know the whole business and you've already built that system. So sourcing, how are we able to track down some of these products so consistently? How am I doing it so easily? How are my students doing it? Well, what we're doing is we're using Keepa Product Finder and we're doing reverse sourcing with Keepa Product Finder. So I'm finding listings on Amazon that are arbitrageable, so it's very easy for me now because I have so many listings, right, that I can just use those sellers and put them into Product Finder and use. But if you're completely new, what you're going to want to do is go to listings that you can buy in store, right? So for example, we have brands like Spring Valley, right? Spring Valley is owned by Walmart. So people that are selling Spring Valley have to be buying it from Walmart. Another example would be Goodfellow. People that are selling Goodfellow have to be buying it from Target because Target owns Goodfellow. There's no wholesale suppliers that are selling those products. So we can go to those sellers, see what else they're selling, and there's a very, very high likelihood that those sellers are also doing online arbitrage, which means they're going to have other products in here that we've never heard of that we can probably also buy online and bring to our store. So that is how we're going to build out our base originally of products that we can spend money on, right? Is just simply through broad reverse sourcing. But once we actually find those opportunities, especially when they're really random brands or random niches that you've never even knew existed, we take those brands from the random website we found them from, we throw them into Product Finder, which is kind of what I was talking about in the multiplying stage, and we turn that one product into a ton of them. So this quick example here is just literally Chips Ahoy cookie. There's always new flavors coming in of Chips Ahoy cookies where there's arbitrage sellers on them. Once you find that one opportunity, maybe it's like a red velvet flavor that I seen selling a long time ago, we can take that product, put it into Product Finder, and find new limited edition cookies that are coming onto market consistently. And you can have your VA do this for you as well. And then just seeing all these new products coming in. This is just one example. There's literally an infinite amount of examples that you can go ahead and use this for. There's so many brands in this entire world that we have never heard of that do fantastic on Amazon. And that is exactly how we multiply our store. And that is how I'm doing my sourcing. That is how I'm teaching how to do sourcing. And this is the most effective way to be tracking down products on a super, super consistent basis. Okay. But once we find those products, obviously we need to analyze those products. Just because we find it profitably does not mean that it's a good product. And if you're newer, you've been selling and you've been making some sales and you've been sending products in, you probably have a ton of stale inventory that's just simply not selling because you did not properly analyze it. Either that product tanked in price, it's not selling like you thought it was, and that's typically the two main bottlenecks in two main regions. So the thing that we do to confirm the product is selling is we use a 90% RTR, which is a 90% risk to reward ratio. This is very simple. It means the reward must be 90% in your favor as a seller. So if we look at charts and we look at the price history of a chart, let's say this product consistently sells at $30, but 3 months ago it was selling at $20. Okay, with your current buy cost, are you going to be profitable or at the very least at a break even if that product ends up coming back to $20? If you answer no to that question, then it is not within the 90% RTR, and it might not be a product that you want to invest your money into because there's a good chance that you're going to lose money on it. Okay, that's a very simple terms what the 90% RTR is, right? So if we look at that first product right there, we look at this second product right here, we can see how consistent it's been over the last 3 months. This would fit into our 90% RTR if we are profitable at that $30 price point at that low point, right? Typically, we want to be nice and profitable there. Then it's even more higher than 90%. Then we might be at a 99.9%, RTR. But in other examples where we are slightly lower typically, and then we trend up for a bit and we're profitable, we want to make sure that that low point within the 3 months is at least break even. If it is at least break even, then you're within the 90% RTR. And the worst case scenario usually in these situations is that you're just going to break even and you get your money back and it's not a big deal. You move it on to new products, right? Not every product we sell is always going to make money. It's sometimes going to break even and it's not always going to be as profitable as we think. But the goal is over time is we get more and more and more of these products that are, and all that money that we have for inventory, we just invest into those products, not the ones that have tanked in price. And the ones that do tank in price can always end up resurfacing again and then take more of our money to invest into. And then again, it's at the end of the day, it's just producing cash flow in the best possible products possible. Make sure that for your first initial test buy, they are always at least hitting that 90% RTR. And if they are, then you're going to be in great shape. So our results here are guaranteed. Again, the results are guaranteed in your Amazon business as long as you control your inputs. Okay, you can control your outcome as long as you control your input. And what do I mean by this? You need to be buying products that are churning within 30 days. So this means don't buy so much of one ASIN that it's going to take you more than 30 days to sell through. It should never take more than 30 days to sell through, in my opinion, doing online arbitrage, because then you're tying up that money for too long. So here's a good example. Instead of spending all of your money on one ASIN, bad example. Let's use this. Instead of buying one ASIN and buying 100 units of that one ASIN, buy 10 different ASINs and 10 units of each of those ASINs, because you're going to sell through those 10 products much quicker than you sell through that one product that you have a ton of inventory with. Does that make sense? That is your input, is making sure you're going very wide in your catalog. And the other thing is your spend. If you can control that and make sure your products sell through within 30 days, then whatever money you spend prior, you should double it in terms of your revenue. So if I input $10,000 worth of inventory, I spend $10,000 on products, none of the products are going to take more than 30 days to sell through, then I should expect to be at a $20,000 revenue within a 30 to 60 day period, depending on check-in times. Does that make sense? The only thing you have control over in this business is your spend and your quality of your products. You control those two things, you will guarantee that outcome coming. And that's exactly what I mentioned when I was starting out, how I had the systems in place where I was stuck at 60K, and a simple extra $40,000 worth of capital in terms of spend doubled my whole entire sales and took me to 130,000 revenue. It was the same exact thing. I knew for a fact that I was going to be producing that kind of revenue because I knew the system worked. I knew I wasn't going too deep, and I knew that the only thing that I could do was just increase my spend, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So now that we got that taken care of, now what's next? Well, now we need to outsource. We need to hire a VA to be sending us product opportunities like this daily. As you can see, we're not buying every product necessarily, but we're buying some of them, and it's well worth our money because a lot of these products will end up resurfacing. So what is our vetted via SOP, and how does that kind of look like? Well, essentially, we come into Online Jobs PH. We post an application that looks somewhat like this. This is our job description. This is one way we can vet them out by really making sure that they're actually reading through our description properly and titling their application the right way, so we can easily vet out 90% of applicants that are simply just mass applying to everyone. Obviously, we don't want to be working with them. We want to work with people that are committed to it, that are going to read through the whole application and the whole description and actually complete it like we asked them to do so, right? And then once the applicants start rolling in, we can auto discard the ones that didn't follow the instructions on the application. We conduct 2 to 3 interviews, weeding out the bad ones. And at that point, we put them through a trial period. So my favorite way to put them through a trial period to make sure that we're not actually getting VAs that are buying off of leads lists, working for multiple people, is I simply generate them a nice list of storefronts on Product Finder. I send them the list of about 1,000 products and I say, hey, for the next day, use this list and only find me products on this list. Me being me, knowing exactly, pulling good storefronts and putting them into Product Finder, I know for a fact that there's profitable products there. So the VA should be able to use that list to find products. If they send me products that are not on that list, well, guess what? They're using a leads list most likely. Get them out of here, right? We do not want to be working with people that are not properly vetted. Next thing as well, if they aren't able to find me anything off that list, well, me being me, knowing that there has to be products there because I did a proper search, I can be like, well, then you don't know what you're doing, right? Then you're not properly trained. Get out of here. You're not vetted. Or in those situations, you can bring them on and properly train them if you want to do that. It just depends on how you're looking to hire. But this is the SOP that we use to really vet out these VAs and make sure that we're hiring proper talent. And it's the most important thing in your business as you begin to progress, because they're going to be a huge asset for you long term. And again, what's after this? Well, at the end of this, all you need is more capital to scale. We already have the systems in place. I mentioned this already. And again, there's just so many ways to increase capital, different cashback cards. We have different business credit cards with crazy rewards, like just getting access to all these credit cards right here with the rewards. Once you get them through, you're getting back an extra over $4,000 just in rewards points. So you need to be really maximizing these as an OA seller. Same with like your cash back, same with all of your coupon things like Top Cashback, Rakuten, Cooper, it's Capital One Shopping. All these things are things you need to be doing as an Amazon seller to be maximizing your margins and making as much money as possible, because either way, this is a pretty tight margin business. So we need all the margin that we can possibly get. And again, accessing capital is very straightforward. It's actually pretty simple once you're really established. And that is the one limiting thing that's going to take you from 20K in revenue a month to 40K to 60K to 120K revenue a month, is simply just investing more money in quality products. And at that point, it's just rinse and repeat. Again, this was my very first 6-figure revenue month. This was when I took that 40K in early January, or I think I might have taken it in late December. And I literally just put that money into the products that were already working. Everything had quick sell through, and then these are results you can get. Now, these margins early on are very tight because, again, I was just aggressively scaling, so I wasn't necessarily buying amazing products. Nowadays, my margins look a lot healthier at about a 15 to 18%, because my goal in the business is to be maximizing my margin. That is what my role is, and that is what I'm spending that time during the week to really make sure that is, that's getting taken care of and the business is making more money. Again, rinse and repeat. The systems are built. Now, this doesn't just work for me. We can see my student Eric here absolutely crushed it. He came in not knowing a single thing about OA back in, what month is this? Back in, looks like that's in August. Now he's out here doing 30K revenue months. He's on track to do 40K for this month. So just massive growth. Again, the system was there. He's already hired a VA. Now his job is to maximize his margins, and he's just in an excellent job at scaling his business. You can literally see his whole progression right here through the weeks, through the months. Again, the system doesn't just work for me. It's a system that's proven, and it works as long as you're willing to commit to it and actually implement them. Again, you need time to be building these systems. Another success story, Melissa, she had issues with getting account deactivation because of doing retail arbitrage, selling brands that aren't really authorized to be selling, and she had her account tied up for months and months and months. We brought her on, got her doing OA, taught her the whole system. Now she's out here doing 22,000. I believe she's on track to do 35,000 for this month. Again, systems are built. She has a VA. She's doing all the things that's required to be making good, consistent cash flow from this business, because it's so lucrative as long as you learn the market, build the systems, and just rinse and repeat that process. And again, Jesse, just a crazy story. He came in with me late last year. He came in. So working with someone else, doing it the kind of unsustainable way, taught him the systems, taught him everything. And as you see, he just absolutely rocketed his sales. You can see the consistent growth right there, doing 60K, 70K revenue months, crushing it again with the same exact systems in place. He doesn't even actually have a VA. He does this all on his own, but nonetheless, the sourcing is the exact same. Everything is the same. It's just same thing for him. It was like after we learned everything in the source, it's like, dude, I need more money. I need more capital. I have the products. I have the systems in place. I have so many different agents to be buying. I just need more capital. So that was his bottleneck. Got that taken care of. And again, the sky's the limit once you really have the systems in place. So again, I told you in the beginning that I'm going to open this up for anyone that's looking to build something similar to this. Look, if you want to scale to 40, 60K a month in revenue in the next 5 months, I encourage you to book in a call down below, speak with us, give you a demo of kind of how I help. But again, it's the same systems I mentioned this whole entire video. You can go ahead and implement that exact same thing for yourself. But if you would like my help on a one-to-one basis to be doing this with you through Zoom, handheld throughout the whole entire thing, the right way, the first time, so you're not spending money and losing it because you're going to end up making mistakes anyways if you're brand new. If you want my help with that, go ahead and book in a call down below. Again, just give you a demo, show you what it's like, and we'll get started ASAP if we're a good fit. But if you're not ready yet, completely understand. That's completely fine. I understand that not everyone is looking for a coach and they just want to get insights. And I encourage you to check out my socials. I have so many videos across my TikTok. If you want to scroll all the way back down to the bottom, you'll see like my 3rd month when I hit 30K. And from that moment on, I just posted, and it kind of grew into this YouTube page. So that is where it all started. Post a ton of videos on my Instagram, and you're already here on my YouTube. You see all the videos I post weekly. I post on Mondays, and I get very granular, in-depth on all things Amazon related. So again, if you're not ready to work with me yet, you're not looking for a coach, you want to do it on your own, here are some resources for you to use. But if you are, again, booking that call down below, we'll chat, see if it's a good fit. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this training. Hope it gave you some insights of how my Amazon business is structured, some ways to vet out your VA, some ways that I'm sourcing. Go ahead and try implementing these. I hope it helps out. And that's all I got for today. I will see you guys next week. Let me know down below if you need any more video ideas that I can go ahead and make, and I'll be sure to make those for you guys. So talk soon. Peace.